Greetings, Dapperlings, and welcome to Robocraft and another of my Dapper build videos, in which I will be building a robot that was suggested and voted on by the community. Now, the votes are in, and we had 190 votes for a T5 shield bike, or rather T5 bike with an emphasis on shields. And, as you can see from the title there, less votes for the Rail Beetle. We had 145 for a T7 Rail Walker Flyer that looked like a beetle. Alas, because that did sound interesting, but on the plus side, I get to play with bikes. Easily one of the more difficult, but also more rewarding projects, in my opinion. I really enjoy playing around with bikes, and despite the amount that I enjoy it, it's really hard to do. Right, we're going to want to build this out a fair old ways. I think something like that should be a decent cage for the wheels. Now, it's very, very important, even though you're only going to be connecting the wheels on one side, it's extremely important to make it even. Otherwise, you're going to have a massive headache later on trying to balance everything out. And you really, really don't want that. It's hard enough to get bikes to work the way they should at the best of times. Right, okay, I think this gives us roughly what we need. Now, let's have a quick look. Being in Tier 5, it does exclude certain things that we have to worry about. For example, this cannot be a medic, so I don't need to build it with room for medic guns. But at the same time, although we can have SMG, plasma, and rail, rails are going to be hard. Rails will be difficult, simply because they're so big. Now, if we turn off the... Oh, that's brilliant. The mirror line, we can place this, but that's actually really, really good. Now, it all depends on the size of the tire, whether a wheel will centralize or not. And this is near as damn it centered to the very middle block, and that is more luck than anything else. We will place this one down here. Now, I like to put them on different sides. Some people like to put them on the same side, but I like to kind of have them balanced out a little bit, if you like. We'll place that down there, and this one over there, and that gives us our wheel. Oh, that's actually pretty good. That's a lot easier than I was expecting. Okay, the hardest part sorted, but seriously, building bikes is so difficult just because of that. There are so many people who ask me, what component, if any, I could have added to the game, what would it be? Without thinking, without even pausing for thought, it would be centrally mounted wheels. And by that, what I mean is a wheel with two mounts either side, with the actual tire being equidistant between both mounts. Ideally, an odd number of cubes wide, so that it would centralize down a single block, ideally with the center of the tire being center to that middle block. But even if it was an even number of blocks wide, I would be totally okay with that. As long as we had something that could centralize, I would be more than happy. Let's start adding these back in with the mirror line this time. There we go. Let's bring that back a little bit, and then pad that out. Now, we've got a couple of things that we can add to this. Though, one thing I would like to do with the bike is have the seat a little bit further back. For no other reason than I like the sort of aesthetics that we'll be able to get with that. Now, we have a number of special things we can have. We can actually have a radar receiver, and a radar jammer. In fact, I'm going to add the radar jammer in right now. That'll go right underneath this. Well, it's not quite underneath the seat. Now, there are benefits to having it right underneath the seat, so maybe I should go with that, or just drive it backwards a little bit. The benefit is that if it's directly underneath the seat, and you get enough damage that you basically clip everything off but the seat, and the cube's underneath it, then there's a reasonable chance you may actually have this cube still attached, which means you don't get blown up just because of that. And assuming you're not taking any more damage, it would afford you the opportunity to just self-destruct and thus rob people of kills and assists. But that is quite cheeky. Still, robbing your enemy of clock cycles is a valid tactic in this game, in my opinion. Now, this isn't very well shaped at the moment. It does look a bit clunky. And before we go any further, I would like to try and shape this. Now, of course, we want to try and give it a bit of a nice look. It's a bike. This is pure style at this point. Oh, damn it. If we could make this out of pure style, then we would. And it would do very well. We can't. We are limited a little bit in that. Let's just buy loads of these blocks so I don't have to worry about them. There we go. But I'm fairly certain we can make something that at least has a biker's heart in it. Literally, we'll find a biker, we'll cut out their heart, and we'll build it into this machine. It'll be perfect. We are going to want... That is right now not going to be what I need. Just flat out the wrong block. But this would also not quite be what I need, which is a bit of a shame. We're just going to have to accept that they're going to connect into a block like this, I guess. Unless we go with something like this and just say that these are going to peel back. But I would actually like to build out from here. So, no, we're going to have to take these away. Alas. I do like the little curves, though. In fact, we'll go ahead and we'll do that here as well. There we go. And down here, too. There we are. We had to take the mirror line away there. Otherwise, it would have busted up the wheel when we removed the other side. So, we've got little globes on each side. It looks a little odd. I appreciate that. Not quite the look I was going for, but we'll see how it goes. I may have to change it later on. Who knows? But there we are. So, kind of odd, to be honest. But we'll see. Right. We want to place in the shields. That was one of the design requirements for this build. So, we want to get that in early and see where we can fit it. We can fit it there. We can fit it there. Ooh. Actually, having it that far back would be nice. There we go. So, that's one of the first parts done. We also want to shape this in here. And actually, let's bring you out a little bit. Now, I suppose we could actually have this come over the wheel itself. And there is certainly something about that. In fact, maybe I should drive the shields a little bit further forward just to protect the wheel. Yeah. Though, what should we do here? Because I don't really want to make a beak, as I usually do. Ooh, I've got a good idea. This is begging for a headlight. Ah, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfection. I approve. Now, what I could do over here, actually, is drive this out a little bit. I'm kind of fighting against the urge to give this more traditional edges, if you like. I would rather have something a little bit more curved, but at the same time, finding it hard to find that space. But if we do something like this, and then I take that away, it really does feel that you either need to go all curves or not with this. Well, that's a bit of a shame. We'll see. Wish there were some blocks that would allow you to merge curves with the edged blocks. Ah, no. Damn it. That is not what I meant to do. Oh well. We are going to need some of you, and then something like that around this side. There we go. Now I can put that wheel back in. There we go. And then fill out this side. Basically looking to get this bot shaped correctly from the beginning here. And that's just going to cut down a lot of time for me later on. Okay, I kind of like where we're going with the edges there. It's got style. I like it. I think we're going to keep it. So we've gone away from the curves, which is a shame. I really am trying to find their place in my build, but it just seems that it was not meant to be this time. I'm sorry, curves. We're going more with hard edges, which means that as much as I want to make this Canada's bike, that's just not going to be happening. Canada's bike requires curves. It's not an option. it needs to be sleek. I will take that away and grab these. So we'll just get the sort of wheel arches on either side sorted, and then we'll move on to some more shielding. Again, I'm not entirely sure what type of weapon system we're going to be putting on this, but I am favoring plasma. Although plasma has a harder time in terms of fittings, it's much harder to fit plasma than SMGs because they can't go on the side. There's something about plasma that I just like. And over here, actually, we're going to do something a little bit different. I think we're going to extend this. Now, the reason why I'm going to do that on this side rather than at the front where I've got the shields fairly far forward is because we're going to need a bit of extra stability with this design. Bikes are difficult to get stable, so we're going to plan ahead and try and address that one problem early. Let's grab you. That looks about right. Now, the way we're going to address it is by using rudders. There we are. Just tucked at the back around this wheel, we'll have 2 rudders. Now, that will give us a lot of additional stability. It will slow us down. It will drop our maximum speed, and that is a shame. On a bike, you kind of want maximum speed, but it's going to help us in the long run quite dramatically. Now, the last thing for a shield I'm thinking is something like this. I think there's a lot of style points on offer for having a shield like that. Maybe even if we drove it back. Could I drive it back and put it over here maybe? Maybe if I brought it out. Can't put it there, but we could put it there. I do really like that. I really like having that shield there. So let's go with that. Might not be the best idea, but it's the one we're going with, damn it. Now, we are going to need some points for putting some plasma on here. I've more or less settled on plasma. I think it's going to offer us the best bang for buck in terms of space. Again, SMGs can be located in more places than plasmas, but I find that plasma are generally more useful in battle arena because they're so devastating to crystals. And having a bike, I think we're going to be trying to avoid direct conflict more often than not. So we've got a plasma there. We'll have to build out some sort of section, some sort of location out here to build another plasma on, I would imagine. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's try and build this for what we're going to be using it for. But again, because I'm building this with a mind to these sorts of top-mounted weapons and not the really huge ones. If you did want to go with SMG, it would probably be very easy to set this up to use SMG instead. We want these on either side. Go, and then the same down here as well. Alright, not too bad. There we are. And I would like this connected up there as well. We'll get rid of that one. Just do something like that. Actually, if we do this, it'll look even better. Nope, wrong. There we go. That looks better. Right, can we fit a plasma on this side? No, we cannot. Damn and blast. Going to need that extra room. Okay, well, that works. So there we go. We've got our plasmas located. 3 of. So all that remains now is to get the ones on top, I guess. If I'm going to have one on top. I suppose I'm going to need them, so that more or less just settles the deal. We don't have a choice. And we're going to want... Yes, we're having a cockpit. Gotta have a windshield with the bike. Get all sorts of weird things slapping you in the face otherwise. There we go. There we are. No insect shall be assaulting my robot. Alright, now I'm going to need to build this out a little bit at the back so that we can place some rear plasmas. Now I'm doing all of this work, and I really don't even know if this is a viable design yet. From the perspective of, is this balanced? Will this drive properly? Now, there is one thing you can do to try and address that sort of thing with the bike, and that is use hover blades, but I would very, very much prefer not to have to go that route. I don't know why I feel that hover blades take away from a bike whilst rudders don't, but I do. I feel that having rudders is a necessary evil, but having hover blades is, in a way, just lazy. There we go. So we've got these. They're a little bit tall. Can I fit some plasmas on here? Ooh, I can. Okay, we'll take that. Then we just need a central plasma. Could this fit down there? It's almost certainly not going to, no. Okay, so we either go with 5 plasmas, or I need to find a way to fit a 6th. Now, I would like to fit a 6th. But how one would go about doing that, I'm not sure. Can I have that there? No, absolutely not. I need to bring this forward if I want a 6th plasma. At that point, they're all on the same tier, which is... Nah, I really don't like this aesthetic. I think we're just going to have to live with 5, honestly. We will, however, be trying to build ourselves a nice radar at the back. I think that is a necessity. Well, I'm going to have to buy one. Just buy a couple of these because I use a lot of them. There we go. Now that'll fit there fine. Won't fit there fine, but let's see. No. Okay, we actually have to build this up then. As long as we have that, then at least we won't be surprised by our enemies. Now, this is a chunky vehicle for a bike. I must confess, it's bigger than I was expecting to build it. Built a little cage there. However, we do need a few more things. Namely, we need more speed. That is going to be a necessity on this design. Now, we can have them built underneath our weapon systems, and there's certainly something to be said for that. Something like this, perhaps. And we can taper this in. Let's go for one of the armored inners, like so, and then maybe, could we fit this in there? No. Can we fit this? No. That is most unfortunate, but oh well. So we've got some forward thrust at the front. We want a fair chunk of it at the back as well. I mean, this would be an ideal point for it, without doubt. Would I be able to be cheeky and fit a radar down there? No? How about there? Yes. Okay. We'll be cheeky then. So we've got... Now, the only thing I'm concerned about this is that that's going to be a lot of upward thrust, and I don't necessarily want that. How about some more along the same line? No. No. Well, we can have a look for these thrusters and just try and anchor them where we can. So there we go. We've got quite a lot of forward thrust now. We are going to, however, need some downward thrust to try and help us in certain situations. We could have even more down along there, but again, we don't actually want any more downward thrust. We want, lateral thrust. We want vertical thrust at this point, specifically down. Where are we going to be able to put these? We can have it. Oh, there we go. That works out okay. Can we find anywhere else? That would also work. It's not the best thing in the world, but let's see if this will even work, because we've put all of this work into this design, and I have no clue if it's even going to steer okay. We're almost at the edge of tier 5, so that's actually not too bad, all things told. But let's take this out. Let's see how it does. It's all tier 5 armor, all tier 5 everything, except for a couple of thrusters which are tier 4. Now, it is leaning to one side. The first test, oh, it doesn't move very fast, but we're only in tier 1. Sorry, overclock level 1. Does it spin out? It's got the potential to, but I think it's going to fight against spinning out because of the rudders. Okay, next test then. Driving off cliffs. Now, if this passes the drive off cliff test, then I'm mostly going to be okay with that. Ooh, we were going well off there, and we have basically grounded ourselves. Oh, how embarrassing. Okay, well, that test didn't work out too well. That's an unfortunate side effect of having the shields where we've got them, is they create this huge kind of scoop at the front, and if we approach an angle in the wrong way, it's going to completely mess that up. Also, because we've got 2 steering wheels, one at the back, one at the front, it is going to make certain turns. It's going to make us spin into certain turns. Let's see. Let's make sure I've got all the thrusters on the same place. We can cling to a surface with that. Hello? Wow, did I just manage to shoot straight through your legs? Oh, silly. There we go. And hello. Wow. Okay. We'll just pause for a moment. I'm so sorry about this. There we go. Right. Off the cliff we go. Okay, well, the rudders seem to be helping us a little bit there. At the very least, we didn't flip over. Hello. Let's try and turn around. I'm uncertain about the steering at the moment. I'll be honest with you. But I think maybe it could work. Depends how it goes with overclocking. Because right now it slows molasses, and that's kind of the opposite of what I want a bike to be. But we're already overclock level 6. This is not a very fast bike, despite the amount of thrusters we've got. Those rudders are really, really affecting our top speed. If I were to take those off, this thing would be moving much, much faster, I imagine. But it would also be significantly harder to steer. I may give that a try. We're going to do one more test going off a cliff, so I've just got some useful comparison for when we don't have the rudders there. And then I think we're probably going to be jumping into a battle with this. Alright, let's see. How does it go? A big enough cliff, it would tip over. But on the whole, not a terrible descent. It tries to cling to a surface naturally, so we shouldn't have too much trouble going down cliffs. In fact, if we slow down before we try to go down a cliff, it'll probably descend quite elegantly. Oh, really? Slow down a little bit. Okay, never mind. Right, we're going to go back. We're going to take off the rudders, and that's going to be the last test before I name this and take it out. I'm fairly happy with the shield design. Right, goodbye, rudders. Please don't be as integral to this design as I suspect you are. Because if you're not, then we'll be able to keep some better speeds. But I imagine we're going to start spinning out and going all loop-de-loop whenever we go off a cliff. You know what? I actually can't tell that much. Oh, no, there is definite control difference. Even if the top speed hasn't really increased that much. It has definitely. Control is much more fluid. Unfortunately, that works both ways. It is likely to spin out. But let's try and take a hard corner. No, you don't want to spin out now? Oh, there we go. There we go. Are you going to be able to tip yourself over? No? Can I recover you? Can you suddenly turn the other way? Oh, you can. Okay. Well, that's a little bit surprising. But the real test will be the cliffs. Because if the bot is just going to constantly be going wrong every time I go over a bump, then that won't be viable. I prefer slower turning and slower top speed, but a little bit better handling, honestly. Oh, like that. Totally out of control. Alright, let's see how this does. We'll first go off this cliff, then we'll go over a shorter jump and see how that works. Because if it is only the big cliffs that pose a problem, that's not too much of an issue. Okay, we don't really have the top speed to really fly off that cliff, I suppose. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, we toppled. But we managed to right ourselves. Let's check another cliff. No, 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 no. Regain control. Do something. Ah. Yes, those rudders really were helping me with the steering. Which does not surprise me too much. They were rudders after all. Okay, let's see. No. Okay, I really do think we're going to need those rudders. Okay, right. We're going to slap those rudders on there. So that makes this an episode. I'm fairly happy with the build as it stands. I'm relatively confident that I, at least, am going to be able to use this build well. Now, no guarantee that it is a good build. In fact, it's probably not. It's slow for a bike. That's one of the chief things here, is it's really slow for a bike. Still, I feel that it has the bike shape, the bike look to it, and I'm actually really, really happy with that. The shields, I think we get a lot of style points for having the vertical shields there, and it's relatively shielded around these points. There's a lot of blocks here to cut through, but I still feel that this is potentially a very fragile bot. It depends on how you pick your battles with this one. But the last thing we're going to be doing before we leave, and as I think is going to be the tradition with the Dapper builds, we're going to name this bot after its suggester, the Travis. There we go. With that, we are going to be wrapping up this episode, but not before I post the next vote. We have a T10 satellite. It's going to be a bit of an expensive build, but I'm sure I can make something work in T10. Whether a satellite is really going to be that useful in T10, I really have my doubts, but that's what was asked. And the second one, bit of more of an artistic bot, bit of more of a funny one, a T7 bomber. A T7 banana bomber, to be exact. So we'll see how those go in the votes. As always, you can click on the annotations for whichever one you would like to vote for, or if you're using a mobile device, there will be comments down in the bottom by myself where you can post a comment or just like that comment to register your vote. But that is really it from me. So I'm off to see how the Travis does in its maiden voyage. If you would like to join me, I will also drop an annotation on screen now, or a link in the video description below where you can jump over to the episode where we're going to see just how the Travis does in its first and possibly second battles. But that is it for this build video. Until next time we meet, and as always, do take care.